right, we're back here, ready for a Terran versus Terran. ByuN, the God Emperor King,
yes,
of all that is unit control, against a guy named Forte.
Okay.
David versus Goliath.
You know, I mean, ByuN is very good at all matchups, including TBT, but, you know, sometimes things like your micro won't come into play as much.
That's right.
Your opponent has his tanks already sieged, your micro is only going to do so much here. Now, here's the real question, though. How many proxy racks, 2 racks Reapers will ByuN pull?
One.
You didn't think of that. You thought the Reapers were over. Oh,
no.
My friend, they are not.
No. They bought the Reaper rights, and they sold it to Michael Bay.
Oh, my God.
We're going all the way here with Reapers. ByuN, the Grim Reaper of StarCraft 2. Against Forte, definitely one of the tougher underdogs in all of the GSL round of 32. Yeah. But he was, you know, Forte was talking about it in the interview, if you guys missed it. The one we do right before the game started. He said he was frustrated he was in this group. You're in a group with stats and ByuN?
Yeah.
I feel like we're so caught up with Reapers, I almost forgot stats was here today. Fight. I'm running for the river. You can ride, you can fly, you can tell them that you tried, but there ain't no going back. They'll never catch me.
What if we just never spoke again and like disappeared from esports? Like, yeah, that's the last thing I said.
Just mouth breather, like
stats was here today.
Forte.
That's a great intro to Forte.
And then when we intro for ByuN, I'm just clicking a pen over and over.
Yep.
You ever known somebody who does that when you're trying to talk to them?
Team expert.
No.
ByuN.
Well, that puts me on. That is it.
Well, you hate anything rhythmic. Like tapped my foot before and tastes like grabs my legs like stop, stop. Stop!
I'm like that mom
like,
in church.
whoa,
I'm like,
dude.
stop
Chill.
doing that.
Oh my God. Really doesn't matter.
Oh no, I can't. My brain just shuts off.
Yeah.
I can't do anything. Yeah, if you're tapping your feet or clicking your pen, can't do it, man. So, can Forte do one of the hardest things to do in the entire world? Beat ByuN, a GSL Code S champion, in a best of 3. We're gonna find out, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. So, let's see. No Proxy Arcs Reaper. Happy to see that.
Yeah. But we could definitely have one in the series. There is at least some variation. Oh, no, there's not. They're actually doing basically the same builds.
Yeah, ByuN did get his gas a little bit earlier, so definitely that's a slight difference. Forte is going straight into the second barracks. So it looks like you'll probably do like the 2 medevac stim timing type of thing, which is TBT, you don't see it too often. It's mostly nowadays, like when it first came out, it was used in all 3 builds all the time. It was like really funny. But nowadays it's mostly against Zerg, very rarely against Protoss, and just not too often against Terran. So the tech path's being quite different here. We're going to see. I think you're completely right, by the way, about what build Forte might be doing. We'll see how effective it is against somebody like ByuN. Guys, if you're not that familiar with these players, ByuN has the best unit control in the game, and even though it's more well known for his TVZ and his TVP, he absolutely has phenomenal micro and TVT. TVT, a matchup that a lot of times is decided with a battle happening that'll last 3 seconds. Yeah. The output for damage and rate of damage is just so insane in the TVT. Stim Marines with siege tanks. It's pretty wild how quickly +3 Stim Marines and a giant arc can kill things. That is certainly a fact. Now, Stim on the way, so Forte definitely going for this build, whereas ByuN a little bit more standard. Looks like it might be a mine drop with some Marines. Not a bad drop, but definitely there will be enough Marines here to win anything straight up. TVT on this map definitely can go on for a long time, especially in this matchup. Excuse me, on this map specifically, though, in TVT. It's certainly one where you could have things cut in half quite easily. And we're going to see if that's going to be the case here as well. There's definitely also some things that can occur as well with like big drops in the main base. Yeah, well,
just the accessibility of the main here and the fact the main's sort of jutted out.
Yeah.
A lot of times games can end where it's not as much about expansions being picked off one by one, but instead about utilizing that rule that we all know is a great way to beat Terran, is just get on top of their production with your attacking units. Mm-hmm. And if you can stay there for a little bit, anything that comes out dies immediately, and it's game over.
Here comes the medevac. See what he can get done with this initial drop. No units up here for Forte. Looks like he's making a turret, which obviously can give him some detection, hit a medevac, but here comes the drop. Oh my god.
Oh!
Okay.
Very nicely done.
Yeah.
Completely shutting out ByuN's opportunity to get any kills there. In fact, these SCVs even pull away just in time.
Yeah.
So Forte's off to a very good start. That's got to be very encouraging for him.
And he's making a Viking right now, so that's something that can easily push away this medevac and allow him to feel completely safe in moving out. ByuN tries to poke up with that, but the wall is up.
Okay, we'll see if Forte decides to move out here. He may try to stay back for a little bit longer. The medevac is still out on the map, which may be what's causing Forte to have a bit of a conservative game here.
Yeah, I do want to point out that ByuN's drop and just kind of flying around with it has kept Forte back longer than he'd like. Your stimmed Marines with 2 medevacs don't get stronger for waiting. You know, he's moved out with the 2 medevacs, but this could have been moved out a long time ago. Instead, he was playing a little bit scared against ByuN because he knew the drop was right there.
Okay, the Vikings now hitting the medevac, and there's a lot of air over here, so he's going to have to get this over to a place where he can land these Marines. And in fact, I don't think the Vikings going to continue to pursue, so that'll probably force the medevac back home, certainly making Forte feel a little bit more comfortable. Forte now unloading. You don't necessarily have to drop in here, but if you can delay the third base from being planted on the low ground, that can oftentimes be good enough.
You might even be able to get up here and poke and kill something. Look at that. It's a double depot as well as a reactor. Would be good kills, but Forte's playing scared in a lot of ways. Like not leaving his base at all against that drop until you had the Viking out. And now he led with the medevac to check. There was no like decisive move with this double medevac drop. And I mean, the thing is you don't necessarily have to do damage with it, but it makes it a much harder position for you because your opponent is going to be leading on tech if you do this build. What it gives you, though, is map control. You know, he already has stim, he already has mobility, so it kind of makes your opponent turtle. Well, but he's playing very passively.
Yeah, basically, Forte starts out super passive to allow himself to be in the phase where he's at now, where he pretty much has map control early. ByuN opened up with a tech build in the hopes that with a little bit of harass, he could take out a few workers and gain a little bit of a lead. Okay! You know what? It wasn't the fight that I thought we were going to have this game, but that was pretty huge. Taking out all those units and basically not losing anything there for Forte. That was a very, very good play.
Yeah, 3 Vikings killed off. That's, you know, that is a lot of the build time on the starport for ByuN, and that's something he wants. Like, if you're going the more tech-heavy route and your opponent has this kind of map control, you want to have those extra Vikings to spot for your siege tanks. You want to make him scan all the time, and you have air control, but... And, I mean, that still may end up being the case here, but that is a nice set of pickoffs for Forte.
Well, we have Forte not stopping with the infantry, whereas ByuN has infantry but mixed in here with some mech units like tanks. So usually if we have these 2 different styles engaging with each other, it's the player that's getting the tanks that has to actually stay back for a while, and the player that's going for the mass infantry gets to take over a large portion of the map, but the infantry does not necessarily scale well later on.
Yeah, like as you get a really big siege tank count, suddenly Marines are not doing as much, but don't forget you're giving up some mobility with that.
Yeah. Now, the tanks are coming out a little bit later here for Forte, so it's not to say that he won't have tanks, but there's definitely going to be tank superiority in numbers here for ByuN.
So both players have their third commands, both of them mining from their third bases. ByuN just kind of setting up a little bit of a siege line here, making sure everything's safe. And the second factory going up for Forte first, which does make some sense, right? He realized that he's a bit behind in that regard.
He's got to play catch-up here. Now, I don't know about Forte actually trying to engage here. He's trying to shuffle the tanks over here. Okay, you know what? He actually got in that position.
Solid position.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that he actually managed to get this up and over here.
But ByuN has Vikings, so he should be able to push this back and retake this area rather quickly. Where are those Vikings?
Right now, they're the lost Vikings, Artosis.
Oh my god.
Blizzard joke.
Oh my god.
Blizzard joke.
This is...
All right, guys, I probably lost my job. I got to get out of here. No, in all seriousness, this push that he's doing where he's coming around like this, I think it's a good idea, but I don't think it can possibly last. Like you were saying, with these Vikings actually pushing that back out, he doesn't even have a really ideal escape route. So this may end up getting stuck back here.
Yeah, it is definitely a possibility.
This could actually just get swallowed up
he's
by
probably
ByuN's
gonna,
army.
He's probably going to have to scan quite a few times, too, because he's losing all of his air at this point. So Forte is, like, getting himself into a corner almost purposefully.
We've actually seen this happen from time to time, even like the very early days of StarCraft. I always wonder, even though he's denying mining, you just look at this position and there is no, like, he's burned the boats down, okay?
Yeah.
He has to stay here. And I feel like he's just going to get boxed in, right?
He is boxed
while
in.
being disjointed from the rest of his army. A very good scan, by the way, there, though. He does see that there's an ambush army waiting to try to intercept reinforcements.
Which, I mean, he may need to move out with. He may need to do something to go kind of escort that army. But it looks like ByuN is not super chasing it down. Which, like, I feel like he could have done a bit more to abuse that army while it was on his side of the map.
Especially with the Vikings that he had there.
Yeah.
Like, there should be no way to pick up. And oddly enough, ByuN's just going to go directly push and completely ignore. Wait, he's coming back.
Okay, because he has a sensor tower that kind of saw that army that whole time, so he was moving back against it. But he's not chasing it. This is, like, I feel like we're watching a bit of a mistake by ByuN, right? He knows where that army was. There was not enough medevacs to get rid of it all.
Yeah,
to shuttle it all out, I guess is the right way to put it.
Okay, this is actually where we can have a base trade. If the two armies go by each other, hold up, Forte's turning around.
Yeah.
Okay, very good scan. He sees exactly where his opponent's at. ByuN scanning here, too. Sees one half of the army that's over there in this center right. So far has no way to identify where the other army is. Okay, hold up. This is a great hit from behind. Okay, Forte not quite committing there.
Yeah, he could have dropped the hammer and flanked all that, but again, playing a little bit safe, like almost getting into a great position, but not quite.
Okay, if he just takes that tank out, he might turn around. What? Pick up 3 Marines and go south.
Some of the army movements this game I find a little bit peculiar, but...
I agree. Okay, now he's taking out these tanks. That's one of the reasons why you want to make sure that your Marines never neglect the tanks too much. Because, of course, the tanks, it just takes longer to increment out a whole lot of tanks than it does to make Marines, because you already have so many barracks with reactors on them.
10 siege tanks for Forte, 9 medevacs for Forte. Like, ByuN has a Marine lead at this point, but...
And by the way, ByuN was at 9 tanks earlier, but lost 4 of them in that little engagement we saw. Now, this is a great stim over here. He's coming forward. If he could just target down some of the tanks, the rest of the Marines are going to clean house, and this is what I was talking about when we started out. This match, sometimes TVT is decided in a battle that lasts about 3 seconds, and that was that battle right there. Now he can drive back these expansions, no access to the gold base.
Yeah, that did not go so well for Forte. Even though he had enough siege tanks to easily force that not to happen, unsieging all of them at once, the spidey sense of ByuN went off, man, and he just moved.
Yeah, he smelled blood in the water and just went for it. And now he's going to try to come and actually pick off some of these tanks with very good targeting, just cleans that up. He can actually get his tanks over on that little triangular edge there, and I believe you can hit the ramp from there. And then nothing's going to allow Forte to win. And it's funny, Artosis, because these guys seem to be pretty evenly matched through most of this game, but ByuN just knows how to engage. And even if it doesn't always look as fancy as maybe his TVZ micro, you can see he's still really got it. So ByuN wins that 1-0 lead right now.
I liked a lot of things about how Forte played that, but I think he moves around too much. The initial attack, we saw him moving around behind the third base of ByuN. There's a bit too much movement back there. Like, he committed too deeply against the air control of ByuN, who also had siege tanks. Like, he's never going to take too much damage from that, and you're likely going to lose your army. ByuN gave that army a get-out-of-jail-free card. And then Forte even picked off extra tanks, had 10 tanks against 5, right? And he was trying to take a gold base, and he was sieged up, but he kept unsieging and moving around, and it's like this thing I've seen in the past where, like, in StarCraft 1, you'd see, like, Zerglings, like, running in and out of a natural when there's a bunker. You move in and out of the natural to get the Marines to follow you, but if there's a bunker, the Marines, by definition, aren't following you, they can't move. Okay, so that's an example of someone just doing something because it's like, this is what you do right now. I felt like that's what we saw from Forte. He's like,
I
we
agree.
move armies right now. We keep moving and repositioning. I try to outposition you. But if you have twice the siege tanks, you have 10 siege tanks, you're taking your gold base, and your opponent you know is much more marine heavy.
Don't move your tanks.
Yeah, stay
You
sieged.
have to hold your ground.
Stay turtled. Build a missile turret ring. Do things like this because you have an army that's not going to be broken unless you're caught unsieged, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah. Also, it seemed like Forte was slightly intimidated
Yes.
at the start of that game. He teched up to the 2 medevacs with the Marines and then didn't leave his base, and that's really that strategy. The whole point of that is you can start coming out and start picking fights, trying to control the map, seeing if there's any holes in your opponent's defenses, and then going in there and punishing it. Instead, he just teched up to it and didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
It's like you get a warp gate or get a warp prism, and all your warp gates are done, and you just don't send the warp gate out. It doesn't make that much sense.
Well, if Forte can like clean up some of these very basic things, like if your opponent has way more Marines, stay sieged, he might be able to do something against ByuN, because it's not like his mechanics are bad. Like he's doing good build orders and stuff.
Forte, there's a difference between some of these other players that we say are probably not going to advance, and because Forte is somebody we don't expect to advance, but he still looks very, very solid.
Yeah. Yeah. And again,
Excuse me. He's
it would be really weird if Forte's in the round of 16 because he knocked out ByuN. But, I don't know. ByuN definitely looking stronger in a lot of ways, but Forte giving himself a shot in every series tonight.
Let's go to the map Odyssey. Forte has to win 2 games in a row. ByuN just needs to win 1 more, and he's on to the round of 16. ByuN, a GSL Code S champion, one of the most legendary StarCraft 2 players of all time. Forte, he's not a rookie, but he is an underdog. Let's see what happens.
Fight! You could tell them that you tried, but there ain't no going back. They'll never catch me.
In the bottom right, in the blue.
Forte.
In the upper left, in the red.
Team expert, ByuN.
Does ByuN still have that puppy?
Yes.
If you guys want to see an old school clip, type in ByuN GSL puppy.
Oh, yeah, that's a funny one.
When he brought the puppy to the GSL and we lost our minds.
He actually posted a really funny tweet.
Oh, yeah?
Where he was like, his puppy was on the couch, and he was like bowing to it, praying to his puppy that he gets voted into GSL Verse World. Because he's not one of the invites. This year is a little bit rough on ByuN, despite winning GSL last year and winning the World Championships. This year so far, he has to have a very good season right now if he wants to go to BlizzCon. He cannot fall flat in his face here. Not again.
First scout coming out right now for Forte. Let's see if the builds tend to deviate from each other again, or if we end up in a mirrored setting.
ByuN 1 base.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. Then it's definitely going to be completely opposite. So ByuN going to go for a little bit of aggression here. Think he's going to try to go for a quick drop here or anything? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something like some Cyclone pressure as well, but I would say very likely he'll go into a medevac. Let's see what he does. He has the double gas, so he can go Cloaked Banshee with this. Possibly some Raven harassment. This is a small map in a lot of ways, right? So I like the choice for him to mix it up here.
Okay, Forte's up to something. Parking that SCV over there. Thing
Proxy
is, you
starport,
don't want to
maybe?
proxy. I don't know if you want to proxy starport against a 1-base guy. Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh.
But, okay, he's got it. ByuN throws the nade down and everything. Let's really get this SCV.
Okay, well, he kills that off, and that could have been used to scout. It could have been a proxy Cloaked Banshee like he did against Stats on this map.
Yeah, sure.
Who knows? But it is gone now, so it doesn't really matter. Cyclones on both sides.
So, Artosis, when you're out and about, how often do people ever ask you what your job is? Maybe they ask you if you're an English teacher out here or something.
Yeah.
And then you got to get into a long explanation about what your job is out here and that it's a real job and you've done it for a long time.
Yeah.
I've started telling people I'm just on Rumspringa out here. know what that is?
Yeah, that's
The
like
Amish,
Amish.
they take a year off.
Yeah.
That's what these people that are down here in our studio are doing. They're on Nerd Rumspringa.
That's
Coming down here and watching esports in Korea.
Well, this is how you fill your esports wild oats, right?
That's right.
Is by coming down to the GSL and watching real esports in action.
That's right. By the way, we have the push already starting here. Now remember, these are ByuN units. Guy's got the best control there is.
Yeah.
But this is actually something Forte can hold if he does it right.
There's
We'll wait for the Banshee to come in here and then see how much of the army is going to get dislodged. Okay, he might have split wrong.
Ooh, that was a great
that was so
bounce.
sick.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
I can't even believe that thing is still alive. It's not going to be for long, though. Down it goes, and this one Cyclone might...
I'm a Cyclone. I'm a ridiculous unit. Ah!
Oh, he's mismicroing ByuN! 4 health left on this thing. Block it with the mule.
No!
Was that an SCV that
was an SCV that got it.
popped out?
The mule, for the first time ever in the game, could do damage, Artosis.
Oh, my God. I wanted to see a mule block there. He accidentally, repairs with the mule. No! Okay, the Banshee comes in with Cloak about to finish, and there's not enough Marines anyways.
Oh, he needs to get that SCV making the turret.
Yeah, not quite.
But he's not going to do it.
Is there a turret in the main base building? I think that there is. Yeah.
Okay, now he's starting to hit some of these workers. He's got to be careful. The Cyclone might look like it's a satellite dish with wheels, but it is much scarier than that, my friend.
Well, another Cyclone comes in. Oh, God, this is not going very well, is it?
You know what? I think that because the Banshee is actually guarding the access point to the second base, there's actually not much you can do about the Cyclone.
It's very hard for him to get down there and do anything here. And look at that. Anything that tries to walk down, the Banshee just works on.
I actually thought for sure once that Cyclone got to the very corner with 1 HP, that there would not be enough momentum in this game. But no, so far he's actually just doing it. And there's a second Banshee over here.
Oh, my God. And he killed the turret in the natural with that Cyclone as well.
Oh, no.
Everything falling apart right now for poor Forte.
Okay.
He has detection, but then everything dies anyways.
Yeah. He gets the solution, but it's already too late. There's another problem coming over here.
Oh, a siege tank. The game will continue.
Yeah, well, he's going to try to scoot the Cyclone just right up here. There's actually more units rallying in. I think there's another Banshee coming.
ByuN is getting so much out of everything here. You're not wrong. The Banshee's coming, but it's Forte's.
Oh, excuse me. Okay. Meanwhile,
ByuN, did you see that? He kind of rolled his eyes in the back of his head.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, was that on the preview screen?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the in-game screen. That's funny. Now, the Raven's coming in here. He might try to chuck an auto turret on top of the tank. Or no, he just wants to try to get a critical position over here.
It looks like he was going to go do that, in fact. Oh,
well,
God.
the moment
here comes the auto turret.
Here it is. And that's going to be enough damage. He 100% gets that tank.
Oh, my God. But he loses that. Cyclone. Look at this. He's just rallying whatever units he can make down here the whole time. He's only down by 3 SCVs.
It's kind of crazy.
He had a super late command center, let's not forget.
Okay, well, even this one's... I'm actually kind of surprised that scouting SCV is even set out right now. Not even sure what you're supposed to look for. He should pretty much know where he's at.
Yeah.
Well, ByuN is also going to take his third base more quickly than Forte will.
Well, siege tanks and Banshees being made here for Forte, so that's definitely a killer ground army. He's not really going to take any more damage because of that, I would say.
Okay, he's going to come in again. 2 more auto turrets coming down here. You got to remember how much damage an auto turret can actually deal. It's so quick.
Well, Forte attacks the auto turrets with SCVs rather than repairs that siege tank, so I find that a little bit
That
surprising.
was not the way to do it. Now, this one Banshee coming in here, this is actually causing a lot of damage, and it doesn't seem like ByuN's actually contemplated having to defend his own base back at home. But with this nice little Banshee tech, he's going to come in here and get a lot of workers, and you know what? He's starting to slow down ByuN's production. ByuN and Forte are almost even right now. It's 41 to 44, but if ByuN loses a few more, it's going to be dead even with workers.
Yeah, this is actually a great move from Forte. Since the beginning of time, Counter Cloak has been a great way to deal with Banshees. You send your own across the map. They've been making Banshees so they don't really have that much to defend against them at home.
Okay, the Vikings now driving back that last Banshee.
God, first scan takes it down. Still 10 SCVs.
Check this out. Both of them have only just started stim.
Wow.
That's how back and forth this was. That is crazy. So, sometimes, normally we see the tech develop a lot more quickly, but when it's this neck and neck, sometimes it's just everything has slowed down quite a bit.
Well, that's kind of funny.
I think this game basically normalizes from here.
I think you're basically right. The one advantage for ByuN would be that he has that third command center. So this is something that should really, really help him out to pull ahead. But, Forte, he has like a similar supply in every regard. Similar upgrades.
Well, Forte can still take the game, but I think that ByuN might have enough push potential. He certainly will have map control. That'll be defaulted to him. But the third base is the real story here.
Certainly it is.
And just knowing a player like ByuN, I don't see him making a big mistake. Well,
yeah, especially right now before Stim is done, because he has Medivacs. Medivacs are going to work much better with Stim.
Okay, he's going to come in here now. Does ByuN overextend? No, he backs up, trying to loop around, but this could give access to the bottom base that's being built down here. It's not done yet. So definitely if that's attacked and forced to cancel, that's going to be pretty bad. I'm almost shocked that Forte is even making the third base there like that. That seems like such a risk.
Yeah, a lot of people like to build him on location. I guess he is behind as far as that economy goes, so maybe this is one of the ways he's decided to try to bring it back.
Okay, going to lay some auto turrets over here, unfortunately in range of the tank. And the exact same thing happens over here at ByuN's base. And it's basically always worth it to just get away from the turret rather than to try to fight it, because it does go away pretty fast.
Yeah, the auto turret's more interesting now that they last longer and do less damage, I gotta say. Definitely prefer these ones to the old ones. Another one comes down by Forte, very good.
Right now they're basically even in supplies, even in workers. But still, it could be anybody's fight depending on how engagements go down.
It's crazy how much damage ByuN did early on with the crazy Banshee and Cyclone and everything, and Forte is still held on here. And
hold up. Here we go.
Spot.
He needs to get the targeting here on these tanks. It looks like Forte may have enough. He takes out those tanks, and these units here from ByuN are on the run.
Now, how many siege tanks does ByuN have left over here? He's losing a ton of his tech units.
Oh, absolutely. Forte can push right now.
Yeah.
He has the tanks.
I feel like he needs to push right now.
He's got the daddy pants on.
There's a sensor tower, but there's like multiple routes he can go on. He could try to siege up the natural, go off the high ground above the third base. Like, there's a lot he can do with these siege tanks right now, but he is pulling back a bit while he saturates his third.
Okay, another auto turret comes down here. This Raven has not really been dealt with, and this is somewhat ByuN's fault. He could have gotten one Viking to try to drive this out a while back here, and he just didn't. So the Ravens are both going uncontested right now. Another one will come down here and plant another auto turret. Both these players getting super annoyed with each other's harass.
Finally, he did pick off that Raven over on his side. So no more harassment by Forte in that regard. Armory finishing up here, so Forte can continue his upgrades. ByuN already starting that 2-2, so going to keep a slight edge in that way. I feel like the one moment where Forte had the tech advantage and should have been able to maybe pressure at least, even if not do significant damage, he pulled back, right? And he just continued with auto turret harassment. So he's like, ByuN has gotten well ahead again, I think. He has enough units that he can pull together any sort of defense. He's remade a lot of those siege tanks he lost.
Well, hold up. We have this medevac now taking some fire here. So this is going to tip off Forte. Forte now going to have to scramble back over here into his main. He might be able to get this reactor and possibly the eBay if he does it fast enough.
Marines popping out all over the place. A lot of them stimming and running up at this point.
And, he's fortunately just got enough over here to slowly clean this up. But there's another push coming down here. All of that was to draw the army of Forte back into his main, and then the real push is coming down here, and there is basically nothing. Hold up. He just barely drops tanks over there. Smart move by Forte, but that does not mean ByuN's going to stop. ByuN rotates up here over and may try to put pressure on the second.
Okay, stimming forward right now, see if he can get any damage done. In the meantime, Forte trying to counterattack, but ByuN was 100% ready for that with his rally in place.
Yeah, ByuN right now not rallying with the rest of his army, which I think is actually a smart move here to stop people from blocking reinforcements. The Raven comes in. Stim Marines drive it back just a little bit. He actually can hit the mineral patches. No, he can't. Can he? That angle's
I think he has to move it slightly more forward to hit mineral patches.
Yeah, looks like he's going to try to edge it up. I thought it was going to hit, but
like right there.
I think he thought it was going to hit too. If he can get any of the SCVs
Oh,
Okay,
just,
let's try
just
again.
barely.
Third time's a charm. Let's do this.
It's like so close.
Thank you very much.
Oh, he might be going for the siege tank. Oh, no,
No,
I guess
he's
not.
trying to get the workers.
Yeah.
He wants to force Forte to run down the ramp and try to fight him.
Yeah, that's not.
This is what we call the "come at me, bro" strategy.
Yeah. Very gross location right here. No Vikings out for Forte, so he can't even push back that lone Raven.
So annoying when this happens to you in TBT. Like, I so don't want to deal with this right now.
Oh, nice defensive auto turret here.
Okay. Oh no, the tank lives.
Wow.
The tank lives.
In the meantime, there is a ByuN attack down towards his third base, but 3 siege tanks already there. Forte with some pretty good defense. He's holding on.
This has been a pretty intense game. Very neck and neck. Oh, that's cute. Okay, that's one way to do it. Then he could pick that up and drop it back over there. I would expect another tank to get rotated down over there. But this game's been super, like, how do you say, high energy. There's been lots of fighting going on constantly. It's been very tough to get mass expansions up. We see ByuN is just barely eking out a little bit of an expo lead here by keeping his opponent so busy. Oh, and this could be huge because the siege tanks here can also hit the minerals on the low ground as well.
Oh, this is a brutal location. You're right about that. A lot of units from Forte coming up. Don't forget, ByuN is sieging the natural here as well.
Yeah.
Forte under attack everywhere.
And now Forte should be able to clear this up, but there's the possibility of really effective trades from ByuN. ByuN basically almost maxed out, by the way. It's 170 to 120, and that's after that fight over there on the high ground in the main there of Forte's.
Oh, God. More SCVs falling at that natural. You went back to remine. Now even ByuN dropping on top of the siege tanks. It's like almost showing off at this point. Everything going wrong for Forte.
Well, at this point in time, Forte is bleeding economically, and I don't know if he's going to be able to get back on his feet because ByuN is not slowing down. In fact, ByuN coming in with a push over here. It looks like Forte has realized it. Forte may try to go for a base trade here, assuming that all of his opponent's army it's all too spread out, and I don't think he realizes the supply disparity right now.
Yeah.
ByuN is essentially maxed out. He's nearly maxed out, where Forte is at 120.
Yeah, ByuN is really outdoing him in every single regard now. All these little moves have added up into a giant victory for ByuN in this game. Forte is struggling really to get anything done. He might even lose that command center, which is just like...
He does. He gets it beautifully done. And I think Forte may try to do a big counter push, but I think all ByuN has to do is regroup and then actually pick a fight right there in the middle of the map.
Okay. Well,
all right.
These are the death throes of Forte here. He's still got a lot of units. He's trying to move around with them, get something done. But ByuN has definitely shown us who is the better player out of these two.
Yeah, and ByuN could take his time. There's no need for ByuN to have to engage this. He just has to wait, look for a vulnerable moment, and clean up this army in the middle of the map. Or was it in the middle of the map, Artosis? He's going to try to drop that army into ByuN's main, presumably.
ByuN knows what's going on.
I believe it's about to be intercepted.
Yeah. Quite right about that. As it gets intercepted, that is the GG moment. It's the timing.
All right.
Look at this. Oh, my God.
And... oh! Our guns don't shoot that far.
And then the Vikings come up.
Okay, guys, here it is. Huge explosions and dead Marines.
Oh, boy. Well, he sieges everything up.
Oh, wow.
So that's
ByuN. ByuN going super cautious over here.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, my God,
look at
that's
this.
a lot of Marines.
It's like they're coming at him like bees. All right, that's it. GG. ByuN beats Forte. It was actually a great series, by the way. Not shocking results, but, I mean, come on, it's ByuN. What do you expect?
Well, I think Forte played pretty well tonight, but drops in the round of 32 kind of as expected, especially with two champions in the group that are both champions within the last year. So, you know, what are you going to do? These guys are just a top tier as far as StarCraft goes. So, good games by Forte, managing to take down Losira 2-1 even. And, of course, that guy is an old veteran as far as StarCraft goes.
So, Stats was our other player that advanced today.
Oh, yeah, Stats played today.
I feel like it was a long time ago, though.
It does feel like a long time ago.
I've been so caught up with Reaper madness, and it's pretty crazy TDTs that have been super close with ByuN and Forte. I think Forte showed he is a very good player, and it looked fairly even at the start, but you can see that ByuN, he's getting stronger at an exponential rate the longer a TDT goes on for. And ByuN is I feel like sometimes the most comfortable when
노련함의
he's just dealing with
주인공
really
변현우 선수
intense pushes
만나보겠습니다.
TVT. He's not good phase.
감사합니다.
Fury says congratulations. ByuN says thank you.
16강 두 번째 진출자입니다. 그런데 이기고 나셔서 트레이드 마크 이런
Second player
제스처가
to advance.
없었어요. 자신에게 어떤 점이 속상하신 거예요?
일단
You didn't make your
굉장히
signature
이기는데
gestures after winning.
제가 너무 소극적으로 플레이하다가 이게
I was really ahead in the second map.
하나 거기까지 갔는데 거기까지
네.
간 게
I was actually being maybe a little bit too careful.
오히려 빨리 끝냈어야 할 경기인데
I thought for a second I might end up losing.
너무 제가
I think I could have just finished him off more quickly.
제대로 된 플레이를 못한 것 같아요.
그럼 전체적인 오늘 경기력에 대해서는 어떠세요?
오늘은
He's saying.
첫 번째 그
Oh,
황강호
here it says,
선수랑
how do you
경기는
evaluate
진짜
your
100점
performance?
만점에 100점을 주고 싶고
네.
김대엽 선수랑 경기는 뭐 졌으니까
I said it. I wanted to give myself 100 points out of 100
제가
points for my game against Lucera.
제가 프로토스는
But
최근에
the
너무
the
약한데
match against
16강에
Stats.
올라가려면 두 명을 이겨야 되잖아요.
Honestly,
그래서 프로토스를
my Protoss
중점적으로
or my match versus
연습하기보다
Protoss play
그냥 저그랑
has not been that good.
중점적으로 연습해서
So-
그 두 명을 잡고 올라가겠다는 마인드로 왔는데
네.
오늘 그
I had a
마인-
strategy
그대로
to
된것
actually just try to
같아가지고
not
되게
focus that much on
김대엽 선수의
Protoss,
승자전
but instead try to know how to do
재밌게
TVZ and
보고
TVT so I could get into the script
변현우
no matter what.
선수는 그렇게
And you know what?
차원이
It works.
다른 피지컬을 기반으로 해서 초반에 흔드는 빌드들, 이 저그전의 300용 사슬처럼 참 이런 빌드들을 잘
You're
쓰시고
known for having the best
좋아하시는데
unit
오늘
control
그런
out there.
견제들이 먹히질 않았거든요.
일단
상대가.
김대엽 선수가
네.
수비 지향적인
And your
선수기도
own,
하고
and of course your own
워낙
original
수비력이
Reaper play on
뛰어나기도
3
하고
barracks, but it
제가
didn't quite
오늘
work
조금
against Stats. Tell us about that.
그냥 처음 사신에
Yeah, well,
잡히면서
Stats is.
사도
He's just
압박을
such a
너무
great
많이
player.
받아가지고 제대로
네.
된 빌드 플레이가
And
안
I think overall his
돼가지고
defensive play is really solid. So
그게 스노우볼
my
굴러간 것
build
같아요.
basically just bounced off
날
of him.
아니었어요?
아니 그렇게 하기엔 1경기가 너무 잘 돼가지고
아, 네.
오늘
하기는
컨디션
So Gary says
최고다
you don't feel like anything worked?
네.
너무
승자부터.
승자당에서
Well,
너무
yeah,
처참하게
the-
져가지고
네.
The
힘들겠다
Lucera match
생각했는데
worked exactly how I wanted it
김대엽 선수가
to.
오늘
Stats
되게
match did.
잘하시더라고요.
네.
I had a good
프로토스를
start.
봤는데 저는 그렇게 못하겠어서 이렇게
So I
안마만
thought
먹고 이렇게
after
짜는
being
플레이를
Lucera was going to be
하는데
really easy
프로토스
for the whole day.
상대로 이렇게 반반
네.
싸움 가는 거 보고 되게 오늘 만약에 최종전에서 만나면 힘들겠다 생각했는데
네.
다행인 것 같아요.
And I was kind of surprised that Forte played as well as he did. He's actually really improved a lot as a player.
승리하고 16강에 이번 시즌에도 올라가게 됐습니다. 사실 변현우 선수
Now you made it to the round of
GSL
16.
더 월드 테란 후보 명단에 포함돼 계세요.
그렇죠.
오늘 이겼으니까
네.
어필의 시간 드릴 거거든요.
And you've been nominated as a
하고 싶긴 한데
for one of the
네.
Terran players for
너무 양심이
GSL
없는
versus
것
the world.
같아요.
Any
제가 성적이
words you
너무
want to
안
say to your
좋아가지고.
fans who are watching?
그렇긴
이제
하죠.
기회 없어요.
일단
You want to encourage them to vote for you? I think he's being shy. Gary's saying this is your only
네.
chance.
뭐 제가 이번 연도에 너무 못했으니까
And says, I know we have until the end of this week.
감사하지만 안 뽑혀도 뭐 제가 못해서 안 뽑힌 거니까.
It would be great if you guys picked me.
그리고 저는 웬만하면
I
병재형이
would love to
좀
represent
뽑혔으면
Korean Terran
그래요?
players.
네.
안 뽑혀도 괜찮아요?
But personally, I recommend
저는
Gumiho. ByuN, don't do this.
네.
안 뽑히면 안 되는데 뽑혀야 되는데.
Gary says, are you
네.
okay even if you didn't get to play in the GSL versus the world?
도 뽑혔으면 좋겠어요.
아, 자 그렇다면 본인도
He says,
투표하셨겠네요.
look, I'd love to be the pick,
본인
저
투표하셨죠?
뽑았습니다.
and I would be very happy to be the pick. But I also would be okay seeing Gumiho go.
What a good guy.
What a
아,
good
네.
dude.
저그는 영우를 뽑았고요.
And these are Protoss
네.
players you want to recommend, by the way, ByuN.
더고요.
네.
Yes. I picked Dark for Zerg.
너무 애매한데 잘하는
And-
선수들이 많아서
네.
저는 김도우 선수 뽑았습니다.
와.
Protoss is a harder one for me to pick. There are so many good Protoss players right now.
이두 분을 인정하시는 거네요.
So I say classic.
인정하기도 하고
네.
가장 최근 GSL에서 가장 4강 한 명은 4강이고 영우는 GSL
Anyways, Dark and Classic are my picks.
네.
워낙 저그 중에서
They're great
고적이라서
players
그렇게 뽑았습니다.
at the moment.
네. 지난 시즌 8강에서 조성두 선수에게 패하면서 아쉽게 금방 또 헤어지면서 이번 시즌은
So you were
오래
eliminated in the
봤으면
round of 8
좋겠거든요.
last season against
네, 저도 오래
Tomorrow.
봤으면 좋겠는데
네.
But I hope to see you
오늘
longer than that in the.
이런
Hope to see you
경기력으로는
pass round of 8 this time around. What do you have to say?
다듬어야
And
될
he
것 같아요.
says,
이렇게 유리한
I also wanna
경기를
stay longer.
역전당할 뻔하면
네.
But just like today's performance,
네.
I don't know if I'm going to
아,
last that
맞다.
long in this
그리고
tournament. I got to
이제
improve a little
사진이
bit.
너프될 거예요.
네, 그래서 오늘 제가 마음 먹고 왔어요. 제가 DK가 아니고
So you know the Reaper's going to get nerfed soon, ByuN.
밸런스 팀 얼마나 사신이
I
좋은지
didn't hear about
보여주려고 제가
네.
그냥 전 경기 다 사신 300 사신 하려고 마음 먹고 왔는데
네.
Yeah, that's why I've been
일단
pulling out my
1경기는
Reaper
제대로
style
들어갔고
now.
최종전에서 강호영이
I wanna show my
올라올
Reaper
줄
play
알았는데 좀 못 보여줘서 아쉽네요.
And I
아직
want to
보여줄 게
show the
많았거든요.
Blizzard Balance team how good the Reaper is.
대방출 하려고 했는데
네, 그냥 이렇게 사기다랑 한번 보여주고 싶었어요.
And since my Reaper play did not entirely work as I wanted,
사실 제일 잘 쓰셨던 분이 이렇게 말씀하시니까 이상하네요.
그렇긴 한데
I couldn't bring those
네.
games all the way to the
제가
end.
제일 잘 쓰긴 해요.
네.
Anyways, my
다른
point
선수들은
is
안 쓰는 이유가
the
있어요.
Reaper
이게
maybe is a little bit
대회에서
OP
쓰기 어려운
right
게
now.
네.
양날의 검 같은 빌드라서 대회에서는 손도 잘 떨리고 긴장도 많이 하기 때문에 오늘 김기용 선수도 이겼지만 그래도
네.
선배력 사신
If you want to go for Reaper, you
보여줬잖아요.
have to go.
이게 하는 선수도
You have to focus on your
좀
micro,
리스크를 안고 하는 거라
your unit control.
근데 또 사기긴 해요.
So there's obviously a huge risk when you go for the
정말
strategy.
여러 선수들이 사실 그 자체라고 평가했던 변현우 선수.
But personally, he says he thinks it's OP. Look at good guy ByuN here.
I know. He's so
Nerfing himself.
genuine.
그럼 안 쓸
Like
것
saying
같으세요?
himself.
vote for Gumiho and Reapers are
폭탄이 한번
OP.
너프 됐잖아요.
How can't you love him?
폭탄이 너프 됐는데 저도
네.
안 쓸 줄 알았는데
Gary's asking if the Nerfer, if the Reaper is
폭탄
nerfed,
데미지 너프하는
will you stop using
거로는
it?
나오긴
It
할 것
says
같아요.
if it's nerfed, I might not use it as
여러
much.
이렇게 기타
We'll see.
다양한 질문들 드려봤는데요. 자, 팬분들 많이 남아서 이렇게 응원해주고 계시네요. 변현우 선수 팬들에게 한마디 마지막으로 들어보겠습니다.
네.
So you got a lot of fans that support you. Do you have anything you want to say to them?
그리고 GSL 월드 저 좀 뽑아주세요.
GSL versus the world is coming up.
하시고
Please
너무
cast your vote for
뽑아주셨으면
me.
좋겠고, 그러니까 올해 성적이 안 좋은 만큼 꼭 뽑히면 거기서 제가 해외 선수들 상대로 되게 강하거든요.
I know I haven't showed the best results since the last season,
근데 좀 뽑아주셨으면 좋겠고.
but I promise
오늘
you
이렇게
guys
많이
vote for me.
찾아주셔서
I'm going to show you guys some
감사드립니다.
awesome games.
네. 알겠습니다.
And also,
다시
he says
한번
thank you for everybody who came down to the
함께
studio.
축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
And then he looked up
자,
at
이제
Tases and he said,
디조의 두 번째
Tases,
승리자
thank you
기술자
for
변현우 선수
saving
만나봤는데요.
esports.
네, 디조의 최종
And I
정리
said, no problem.
확인해보겠습니다.
Esports was dead. Its heart stopped beating. Tases got the paddles out and brought it back to life.
Oh my. I didn't hear you say any of that, but I guess you did when I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Well, guys, there you have the stats of the night. Lucira and Forte apparently tying in that losers match, but Lucira
Is
bowing
Beethoven
out.
playing?
Well, not him specifically. We have
Stats
no
have been go
recordings
to
from that
round of
time.
16. No, round of 16. Yeah, see, there's round of 16.
Yeah, there it is.
Stats and beyond go on to the round of 16. Round of 16. Round of 16.
That's the Forte of the song right there.
Yeah.
Guys, next match is Tuesday. We go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Saturday we're
And
going to just rail through the round.
We
of the
never
32.
have GSL on Tuesday, so mark this in your calendar.
Yeah. It's a good day, too.
Yeah. We have 4 GSL days in a period of a week. We're gonna cram through these. So next week you got a lot of sleep you're gonna miss out on, and a lot of responsibilities you just cannot
possibly do.
you can't take care of it.
This is such
Okay.
a crazy set of games. Oh my God, this is going to be so much fun. Look at that. I mean, I'm not even going to reel the names. Those are like some of the biggest names in the game.
We of course still have some non-Koreans.
3 of them.
3 of them remain. Before it's only the casters who are the non-Koreans left in this tournament.
Yes. Hopefully someone will join us in that round of 16, though.
That's right.
I think it's definitely doable. Hard groups, though, for these guys.
Very excited to see No Regret. It's going to be the first foreigner to win the GSL Codas.
Possibly. Get those Terrans out of his way.
Walks it out of the final stage, holding Stats' head. Crazy. And of course, GSL vs. the World is coming up. This is a very special tournament that we have planned down here at the Africa TV studio. You got to come down.
And, of course, team competition grand finals are on Sunday. Don't forget to go and vote. And make sure you let people know to
We
go
have the
vote as well.
Original GSL song playing right now.
Yeah, because that's how epic this is. It's like original GSL level epic.
Yeah.
Well, truth be, I've gone back and watched some of those games. They're garbage compared to nowadays.
It's much harder to watch an older StarCraft game.
Yeah.
You guys can vote for this stuff online, so go check it out. And vote with your heart.
That's right. You decide who you want to vote for, and you do it. You don't have to tell anybody. So many good players left over, too. Look at the Terran lineup for Korea.
Jeez.
Innovation TY already there, and then there's going to be at least one more Terran that plays. Oh, my God.
Well, guys, this was a lot of fun casting this for you today. I do look forward to our casting that we have on Tuesday. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
3 days in a row.
Can't wait.
GSL.
It's going to be great. And then the
Come
next
down to the
week I
studio,
am
definitely
Shanghai.
do it.
And then the next week we have GSL versus the world.
Well, guys, that does it for today's episode of the GSL. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you, again, mark it down. It's not a normal day, on Tuesday at the normal time, 6:30 p.m. KST. We love you. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are.